Hello students, today's lecture is related to measurement of fluid flow. Now fluid flow devices falls into number of device categories as well as into different fluid classes. In generally we split the fluid into two categories, one is for liquids, the other one is for gases. Now within these two broad classes there are a number of special cases that one should be careful. These are related to flammable liquids and gases which require special handling, and so does that because they are at very different high temperatures, extreme temperatures. While selecting a transducer, you should be cautious that the device you are selecting is compatible with the fluid and the conditions with which you are working. Now the physical measurement devices comes into different classification. These are obstruction flow meters, velocity flow meters, positive displacement meters and variable area meters. Now obstruction flow meters are simple and the oldest measuring class. In this, in order to measure the amount of water flowing through an aqueduct, they would place a rod across the flow, measure how high the water flows over the top of the board. The very first example of obstruction flow meters are notch weighers. Notch weighers are classified by the shape of their notch. They can be rectangular weighers, triangular weighers, V-notch, trapezoidal weighers and parabolic weighers. Now the picture shown over here is of V-notch. Now the edge of water cascading over it is called crest and the overflowing water sheet is called nappe. Today weighers are still used to determine the flow for an open water sources such as streams. Now water flowing over a weir is calculated by the equation given, which is Q equal to 2.49 H raised to power 12.48, where H represents the head of the weir in feet and Q is the discharge over the weir. It's easy to see that this is a simple measurement technique which can be used to measure the flow of an open channel. It's simply a matter of building a large enough weir plate. It's just obvious that the technique won't be working in an enclosed pipe and it certainly won't work for gases. The second type of obstruction flow meters are called orifice meter. Now the equivalent of V-notch in the tube would be a orifice plate. Now this device is created by inserting an obstruction plate, usually a round hole in the middle, into the pipe and measuring the pressure across the orifice. Now these plates are generally installed by tapping in between the two pipe flanges. Pressure taps on each flange allow you to easily measure the pressure differential across the plate. Now you can see in this figure we have taken measuring the pressure across the orifice plate, and the pressure is represented by this formula, Bernoulli's equation, which is given at delta P is half rho V2 square minus V1 square. Now the flow through pipe will have a certain amount of turbulence which acts to convert kinetic energy into the heat. Now this effect is taken into account by adding an additional term into the equation called as discharge coefficient, CD. Now the resulting equation, how area and this coefficient is applied to give you a flow rate, that is Q is given as CD under root of 2 delta P by rho into the area factor. Now the flow coefficient is experimentally calculated and it's tabulated in various different books. Now normally the range of this coefficient of discharge of orifice is normally between 0.6 to 0.9, and its value depend upon the orifice and the pipe diameter as well as the Reynolds number. Next type of obstruction meter is your Venturi meter. Now Venturi meter considers again obstruction is less obstruction than the orifice. It still does have a certain amount of pressure drop and is significantly less than the orifice, what is there in the orifice type meter. Now the calculation is again based upon the pressure drop between the 2 points across the Venturi flow, and the volumetric flow rate is given by again this formula C under root of 2 delta P by rho A into the area factor. Now the coefficient of discharge for Venturi meter is normally in the range of 0.9 to 0.98 for smooth tapping of Venturis. Then we have velocity flow meters devices. Now velocity flow meter device techniques allow you to measure total flow rate by measuring the velocity of the fluid at the exact point. Now the technique used is a measuring probe to determine the velocity of the fluid at the center portion of the pipe. For these techniques to provide reasonable accurate result, the velocity of the flow must be made well within the duct to minimize the effect of the boundary layers. Then the technique also requires that the flow to be laminar flow. The result in turbulent flow suffers in the stability and the accuracy of the measurement of the velocity. Now, Pitot tube is the simplest example. Now, the device is a section of a tube that measures the pressure at the tip and the pressure at the side of the tube. Now, reading this differential pressure and applying the Bernoulli equation, one can calculate the fluid velocity. Now, as shown in this figure, the Pitot tube is constructed of two tubes, one inside the other, to create a static pressure port and a flow pressure port. If we apply the Bernoulli equation, so we have this Ps plus R V square by 2 equal to Pf, where Ps is the static pressure and Pf is the flow pressure. Now, on solving this, we can calculate the velocity. So, velocity is calculated as V under root of 2 delta P by R. Clear? Now, if you multiply, if the velocity is known, if you multiply by the cross sectional area, we will get the volumetric flow rate. Then we have hot wire or film probes. Now, Pitot tube works well for high flow rates in gases and variety of flow rates in liquid, but the technique fails for if you want to calculate the flow rate of a low air flow rate. To solve this gap, velocity measurement technology, hot wire and hot film probes are developed. Hot wire probes are extremely fast response devices. With the wire size of in micrometer, the probe responds quickly to the change in temperature at a faster rate of 1 millisecond, and makes it this type of probe ideal for study of turbulent flows. Small handles units respond much slower, are available for few $100 and is a good solution to low flow rate applications. The accuracy of these devices is typically at around 1% and generally designed for use of air flow rates or maybe calibration of other gases. Then we have rotameter. Rotameter is a variable area meter that employs vertically tubing of a variable diameter with an object inserted in it. This object is called float. Now, this type of meter is used only in a vertical position, as gravity is the prime force involved in the calibration of the device. Now, the float moves vertically in a variable diameter tube by a combination of buoyancy force and the pressure forces. The flowing pressure forces are created by the fluid trying to move around the float by using the gap between the float and the side of the tube. As the force moves the float up the tube, widening the gap between the tube and the float, allowing the forces to be reduced, and gravitation tends to force the float back to the tube towards the bottom. At equilibrium of a given flow rate, the forces of flow and buoyancy are in vertical direction and are balanced by the mass of the float, which is being pulled by the gravity. So, this is how the rotameter works. So, these are the few devices which can be used for measurement of flow rates. Thank you.